Hello, my name is Barnisha Howard. I'm going to be presenting a presentation on trauma-informed care. First, I'm going to be talking about statistics. About 64% of adults in the United States reportedly state that they have experienced at least one type of ACEs before the age of 18. Nearly 1 in 6 and 17.3% adults report that they had experienced 4 or more ACEs. Preventing ACEs could potentially reduce many health conditions. Estimates shows about 1.9 million heart diseases and 21 million depression cases can potentially be avoided if preventing ACEs. Statistics also states that childhood trauma is increasingly recognized as an epidemic, with strong association between increases adverse childhood experiences and likelihood of negative outcomes such as mental health challenges, abilities to be successful in academic achievement, and difficulties in school. I have also presented you with some pictures to just show you the trauma exposure and the points of intervention. So the number one system for prevention for trauma can be minimize or neutralize the event, such as the trauma exposure. The number two will be individual teach alternative social, emotional, behavior, and physical reactions to the trauma. So personal factors, coping styles, maturity, and psychological history as well. Number three would be avoid a reinforcing cycle of re-traumatization. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Realize and recognize and respond and resist. So the consequences, what is the immediate response by others? Also, what happens before the trigger is influenced? ACEs can be described as kind of like a fight or flight symptom. So when most people are afraid, they either fight and flight or they either freeze. Prolonged high levels of this type of event that happens could eventually cause trauma and also pain within the body. So children with 4 more ACEs are 32 times more likely to have learning disabilities or learning problems within the school. It also states that a few statistics I want to give you about ACEs as well states that 28% experience physical abuse, 27% experience or witness household substance abuse, 26 face economic hardship, 21 were sexually abused, 50% were emotionally neglected, and 10% were physically neglected. It also says that ACE is 3 times more likely to attempt suicide, 4 times more likely to be alcoholics, nearly 3 times more likely to use illicit drugs. A score of 4 or more on ACEs test shows even higher risk. 12 times more likely to attempt suicide, 7 times more likely to be alcoholics, 390% higher risk of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, such as the heart disease. Also, 10 times more likely to use illicit drugs, 2 times more likely to be nicotine addicted, 460% more likely to suffer from depression. People with 6 or more ACEs die on an average of 20 years earlier than the ones with 0 ACEs. I've also provided a picture discussing how the early death, diseases, disabilities, social problems, adaptation to health risk behaviors, social, emotional, and development disruptions, and neurological development. Traumatic events experienced prior to the age of 18, abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, neglect, emotional, physical, or household challenges can increase these effects of ACEs. So discussing trauma-informed care, the principles and values in this practice should be create in a welcoming environment, embrace diversity, give consequences using supportive and non-confrontational language, provide clear, informative about expectations, inform others of transitioning ahead of time, and express patience and acceptance. That's just the name of a few. And also, you just want to have a safe, trustworthy, a choice, collaboration, and empowerment environment. Trauma-informed care, my top would be embrace and inclusion. So you want to embrace the person and include them and be willing to accept all things that come with that person. You want to build a relationship and have trust. You want to also create a welcoming environment. So you want them to be willing to share, know that this is a safe environment, and also express that you know it's going to be hard for them to share their trauma, but you're here to work through that trauma with them. You also want to focus on the needs of the family to provide resources for all family members to address trauma that needs to be addressed within the home. And for the school actions, I would say number one is if you see something, say something. Number two, hold school meetings with the child first. Number three, conduct school meetings with the family minus the child. Report all abuse concerns to Child Protective Services. Provide resources and conduct home visits, and also conduct follow-ups. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me anytime. I have also provided you with some references from the information that I provided here in the presentation. Thank you.